Margaret Josephs. I mean, Marge. You got those audio recordings or no? That's what I want to know. Okay. Anyways, y'all, what's up? It's Taina B here, back with Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 14, episode 2. I definitely enjoyed this episode much better than the first. So let's go ahead and get to the point. Okay. So we start off with Danielle, and she's at a photo shoot for her daughter Valentina, because she's signed to a talent agency, and they're just kind of updating their photos and whatnot. Of course, she looks absolutely adorable in her photos, and she lets us know that Bougie Kids has pretty much taken off in this 1 year span of time. And I'm like, again, the blessings of being able to be a part of these types of platforms when your business can just spread like wildfire, or wildfire. You have the resources, again, obviously the clientele, support, whatever that is. Because listen, her business did in 1 year what most businesses don't do in 10 years or even at all. So shout out to her for that on Bougie Kids, because they will be a part of New York Fashion Week, which is super dope. I'm sure that's happened already. I don't know if you guys have caught wind of that or insight, or maybe it hasn't happened. If you do know, let me know down in the comments. But pretty much, she also brings up, Nate's cyst that he had in his brain years ago. So about 6 years ago, he's been in recovery from that. And I'm like, yo, that's super scary. I believe she said something to the tune of he was walking towards her and just kind of froze in his tracks, and she didn't know what was going on. And people don't tend to survive that. As a matter of fact, I know someone who went through that same thing, and they literally just dropped in that moment, and that was all she wrote. Any sense of life was just gone. So thank God for his covering and protection to be able to live through that. Even I know later on in the episode, he was talking with the guys just about his recovery period and how that was even quick. He didn't even look like he went in surgery from the picture that we saw. So definitely wishing him continued good health and everything that he does with that. And so, for that reason, Danielle's letting us know that she's going to have a celebration of life for him down at the Jersey Shore, which I think is wonderful. Life should always be celebrated, not just when people are gone, but while they're here, because you just never know from one moment, one day to the next. You know what I'm saying? And so she also lets us know that she's not really feeling her dad in this moment, barely talking to him, because it seems that he's had a pattern of just not showing her support through different stages, or I guess situations in her life. And she brings up the example of her brother. We remember when they really weren't speaking to each other from last season, and she said that he had a baby. She sent the baby a gift, and then he decided to send the gift back, but for whatever the reason, her father didn't, acknowledge that what her brother did was wrong. So it's almost like, okay, I'm standing here in thin air, and you can't at least say that he was dead wrong. Sometimes it doesn't require a lot, from people to show you that they're with you, or just acknowledge your feelings. One thing I always say, I can't stand when somebody minimizes my feelings, or fails to acknowledge my feelings, because it's like, at the end of the day, while it might not be a pressing matter for you, guess what it is for me. Okay, so help me through that, please. And you're my dad, for Pete's sake. So I definitely feel her on that. But the good thing she says about that is that she hasn't, prohibited the relationship between him and her children, which is very important, because a lot of times people like to fight dirty, and then they use the kids, as cut off, and as a pawn in the scheme of it all. So I'm glad that she's more mature than that. And so now we pan over to Dolores, Black Dolores, which I absolutely love her. I think I will always love Dolores. Can I just say that? I feel like, I don't want to say Dolores can do no wrong, right? Because that's not true. And, whatever, she's human, but I just love her energy. I love the person that she is. I love her look. I love her just authenticity, all of that. But anyway, so she's letting us know that she's looking to get back into real estate. She's having a discussion with Paulie, and just, telling us that she's always been the kind of woman that just likes to have her own, which is so important, right? I'm sure a lot of you, your moms, your aunties, your grandmoms, the sister in the church, mother of the church, whoever has instilled in you that it's always good to have your own thing, and to do your own thing. And while it's wonderful to have support, right? Because I have a supportive, wonderful husband, it's nothing like having your own as a woman, to know that you have that emergency fund money, or you have that fallback, or just that sense of independence for yourself. So I'm with Dolores on that all the way. Even with her being on this platform and making the money that she's made, she's letting us know, listen, it's always an opportunity to get that cash. Okay. Let's not stop getting the flow coming in. You can never have more than enough. Okay. And we're going to keep this bag rolling. So I'm not mad at that at all. Um, and so Paulie's still not divorced. We get that thrown in there right quickly. And I'm like, Paulie, what is going on, my guy? I don't know what's wrong with these people between Paulie and David. Now, maybe we're missing something. And for those of you that remember, David was Dolores's last boyfriend. That was the doctor that barely had the time to make for her. And when he did, he seemed 90% of the time like he didn't want to be bothered with her. And I'm like, yo, like, are the cameras catching something that we're missing as it relates to Dolores? Because I'm trying to figure out why y'all act like y'all don't know how to handle a good thing when you have it. Dolores is bad. Okay? Dolores is bad on the outside. So that's the first thing. You have beauty right at your fingertips and on your arm, making y'all look better. Okay. Because at the end of the god day, out of all of y'all, Frank is my guy. But I know he messed that up a long time ago, and there's no going back. And even in this day, I think Frank is still so handsome. I wish he would have played his cards right, because they would have just been an absolutely beautiful couple, in my opinion. Especially loving their relationship that they've fostered and cultivated up until this point. But I'm just like, David and Paulie, y'all gotta act like, you know what time it is. And it's just so weird to me that while I'm sure Paulie does treat her well and all these other things she's told us so, it's just like you still moving very slow and dragging your feet in other ways. When you know what you have, you're gonna do what you need to do on the other end to tighten up and make things happen. So I'm just like, what's the problem? What is the problem, Paulie? So he kind of pissed me off with that. And I'm still trying to get used to Paulie. I mean, I guess. I guess we'll see what happens. But she discusses Danielle's invitation to Nate's party, of which they'll be attending at the Jersey Shore. Have you guys ever been to the Jersey Shore? It's crazy how I used to live, born and raised right next door, New York, but I've never been to the shore. And I'm a watcher and been a fan pretty much from day one of Jersey Shore, the actual show. And it's like, even throughout watching all that, I've never really had a desire to go there. I'm not super opposed to it now, but I just want to know, like, what's the hype about? Is it really worth talking about or what? Let me know. But anyway, so Paulie makes reference, stereotypical, question of if he should get the lines on the side of his head like the guys do in Jersey. And I'm like, well, at the end of the day, Paulie, while you over there trying to be funny, like they used to call it on the show, you're a typical looking juice head. If I'm being honest, because you got the big muscular box head, the body, where your arms barely go down at your side. So you would fit the bill. So go ahead and get the line. You'll be straight. So now we pan over to Teresa. She's pretty much discussing the fact that she'll be attending a sober event for Louis's dad in celebration of him laying off alcohol for 8 years. Louis lets us know that's kind of been an obstacle in his childhood growing up, but they're proud that his dad has overcome that, and it's just kind of helped their relationship more, for obvious reasons. And she gets emotional about Gabriella leaving for college. Little Gabriella, she seems like such a quiet one, but we know she still has that fiery spark on the inside. And we know that we've seen Teresa much more emotional post her returning from going away, which I just love so much more. I like when people can show us their vulnerabilities. I'm not saying you have to cry at the drop of a hat and you have to cry every single day. But when, she was on that hardcore tip so long ago, it was like, girl, I get, what I'm saying? You are a toughie or you want to present like a toughie, but come on. You don't have to just save the tears for when you're at home by yourself. Like, let people in, and I feel like that's when you can facilitate more support in whatever you're going through, because people can relate. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that she's letting it out and just being free. And, she has the love around her that she needs to help her make it through, these times. But I will say I actually loved her baby blue confessional look. I thought she looked so cute. I love that her updo was good. Face makeup was looking good. She just looked really, really nice. And I love that look for her. She mentioned as she's talking to Louis that she is in a legal situation with Margaret, right? And she says she can't wait to show the world that Margaret's a liar. Now, I'm gonna get back to that later on in the video. I kind of touched on it, sprinkled it at the onset of the video because I'm kind of wondering about that too, right? So, anywho's, now we go to Melissa and her family's gathering and getting together at a beautiful location to celebrate Antonia's 18th birthday and just kind of really like a two for one. Also, celebrating the fact that she's going off to college and they won't be able to see her for a while. Again, I just can't believe how beautifully she's grown. Well, no, I should say I should have known because she's always been a cutie. But again, just Melissa and Joe, they have such a beautiful family, good looking people. And of course, Melissa gets emotional too, as she should, as any good mom would, for missing their baby and this major change that's taking place. I know I can't even imagine the way I will be falling all the way completely out and then some, and then I'll stand up and fall back out again when my kids go off to college. Okay. Like I'll just be totally over it. And I say that to my husband all the time. I ask him, I'm like, what are we gonna do when they go? And he's like, travel, live our best lives, enjoy ourselves. I'm like, no. I mean, yes, but no. Like he just says it so casually, like we should just be waiting for the day for them to leave. And that's just not where I'm at with it. So I definitely will be crying like these ladies have been. And can I say sidebar? Because we, see Miss Donna Marco, Melissa's mom there. And I'm like, doesn't Donna Marco sound like it should have been a fashion designer brand like all along? You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, what you wearing? Oh, I'm wearing this Donna Marco. This is the Donna Marco, honey. Okay. I love her name. Random because we've already known her name in times past. I don't know. It just hit me more so than that name should have been doing something, Miss Donna. Like it should have been in lights or on somebody's label sewn somewhere or something. But at any rate, we also learned that Joe is going to be marrying one of Melissa's family members, which is super sweet. And, she starts to get emotional because she's expressing her gratitude for the fact that her family's embraced Joe from day one and has always made him feel like he was one of their own. And you get that vibe from her family. I mean, they've always seemed like they're pretty cool, but, especially sitting there, just kind of energy that they had even once they first gathered in the labs. And, it reminds you of what family should be and what family is supposed to be. So I can definitely see them, just kind of taking him under their wing. And, in a perfect world, I wish it was like that for everybody, but it's not, right? Everyone who joins families, but not so. So Joe expresses that the moment for him is bittersweet because he doesn't have his other side of the family there, which is, Teresa and her kids and all of that. And I can only imagine, but we know again at the end of the day, sometimes it's better that way, given the circumstances when you've been through the ringer with people day in and day out, whether family or not, like it's but so much more you can take, you know what I'm saying? And you get to your wits end when you had enough. And I think that they've been to the point of having enough and then beyond to jumping off the cliff. And then from there, somehow finding another cliff to jump off of. It's just been really bad. You could feel the emotion and it's sad in the moment because, you wish better for them, but that's just not the reality of things. So I will say to that notion, thank God for the fact that Joe has Melissa's family, because he probably would really be screwed. So go back to Teresa. She's talking to Gia. She lets us know Gia has already graduated from Rutgers. And I'm just like, in what world? Then just Gia just get there like 2 seconds ago, at least the way I remember it. And I'm like, again, insane how time will fly. So shout out to her for that. And Teresa brings up the fact that, her interest still lies in immigration law due to the circumstances that took place with her dad and him being deported, after him serving his time in his sentence. And, I think that's great when you can go after something that moves you and that you're passionate about. And of course, something, that you've been through with a loved one that drives the force and the narrative even more. And I think that Gia will really excel and she will make a powerhouse attorney, because she has that fiery side as well, that beast. She appears to be extremely intelligent, level headed, And, why not? And she's going to look good doing it at the same time, as she walks in that courtroom. And so I loved all of it because legal is my love language. I went to law school. Shout out to the Legal Eagles, North Carolina Central School of Law. Stand up right now. What's up? So I'm definitely wishing her the best on that. I know she mentioned she has to take her LSAT or would like to take her LSAT again because she didn't score as high as she wanted to. And for those of you out there who are unfamiliar, the LSAT is an acronym for Law School Admission Test. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a test required to get into law school and start the journey. So I'm sure she will do just fine with that. We see that body sculptors have come to Teresa's home. They're just going to kind of keep them entertained, while Teresa meets with her friends, Danielle and Jennifer Aiden, who happen to come over. And, Danielle pretty much gives Teresa a heads up that she'll be staying at John Fuda's house once they go down to the shore. And, Teresa's just kind of like, oh, well, it's fine, whoever you want to be friends with. And I was like, yeah, Teresa, until something goes left. And then you'll be the main one standing to talk about something. You should have had my back. You should have. You should have stood up for me. I'm like, Teresa, don't try that. Don't you start that tree. Tree. Don't you start that mess, okay? We're letting the past be the past. I hope you're moving on with a whole new way of doing things, okay? You wearing your namaste itches shirt. So with that being said, part of that namaste has got to be that you can't expect them to be your mouthpiece and, all of that, okay? Just let it flow how it's going to flow. And so across town, we see Marge, Melissa, and Rachel Food are also meeting. They're, having some pickleball lessons, and they sit down and talk. And Rachel shares with us that she deals with rheumatoid arthritis because she's having a flare up in that moment. It's something that she's dealt with since she was young. And I loved when they showed her 2013 throwback because she looked so cute. And I'm like, sidebar again. Now, we remember last episode Rachel's Nona was sitting up there referencing Jen Aiden as the one with the nose. And I'm like, Nona, hold on now. Hold up, wait a minute. Because Nona, Rachel's nose ain't in the best condition either. And it's not aesthetically pleasing to the eye, in my opinion. Especially when you look at her throwback picture where, she just looked so pretty in her natural element. I don't know why these people go and start messing up their faces and their bodies. I'm like, what is it that you guys are seeing in the mirror when you look at yourselves that really make you want to make these unnecessary changes? Now, some changes are absolutely fabulous and warranted, right? And they work well. Jen Fessler, for example, being that example, even though Jen looked great prior to, but we can see where it just kind of enhanced her a little bit more and put a little bit more shimmy and sparkle on her. But, other instances, I kind of want to leave those alone right now. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, what just happened? So I just really wish she would have left her nose alone. And I'm gonna forever blame Jim Fessler for the fact that we can now reference Rachel as a Tim Burton character because of her nose. Well, okay, maybe not because of her nose. Maybe she meant overall, but I'm sure the nose plays a role into it. So I pray that she'll just leave her nose alone. Don't do anything else. Let it be. And she's not a bad looking woman. Don't get me wrong, but I really wish she wouldn't have messed around with her nose. But at any rate, so you know, Melissa lets us know that Miss Donna hurt herself babysitting. I guess to break her fall while she was holding the baby, she ended up falling and breaking her elbow. I'm like, oh God. And even we see once they get down to the shore, Miss Donna there and Melissa really having to be attentive to her because she really can't do much of anything, with her hands and arms and her little chin is scraped up. I'm like, Miss Donna, all jacked up and messed up, with your pretty self. So I really felt bad for her in that moment. Definitely hope that she's had a speedy recovery since then. And so I was definitely feeling the spread once they got to the show at the foodist house. Not that it was anything too crazy, but definitely something I would have been sitting there snacking on, not engaged in conversation because I could care less. I'm focusing on the meats, the cheese, the fruit. Where's the drinks at? Because y'all talking about the same craziness, and I don't have time for what time are we really eating dinner? What time does the party start? So I just, will say that I thought that looked pretty good, and that's what I was focused on as they were talking. And so once Jen Fessler arrives to Rachel's home, Rachel sarcastically just kind of brings up, for lack of better words, just the somewhat cool energy that, Jen has kind of been giving towards Teresa. And you can tell Jen was a little irritated. She's like, oh, here we go. Pretty much like, it's a topic she doesn't really want to talk about. And she just makes it known to Rachel again, listen, I don't really have no problems with the lady. Whereas Rachel is coming from the angle where it's almost like by association, sis, listen, if I got a problem, automatically you got a problem. We in this problem together. And some people do operate like that. I feel like it could be twofold, because it's like you want to think, yes, you'll feel a way if somebody's fooling with somebody that did you dirty, because it's like, what makes you think they're not going to do the same to you? But at the same time, it's like you want people to also be adults and handle things in their own right, in their own matter. Because again, I can be cool with somebody you don't like. I just know the limits and the levels. I won't come and talk to you about the stuff going on with them. And, I won't tell them your stuff and all this other mess. And that's just how we'll handle it. I'll deal with them accordingly. So I kind of was like, I get Rachel's frustration because it was a big accusation, or not even accusation. It was, for what we know, just too a bit much for Louis with this private investigative matter, right? And so I get why she would be annoyed. And I think she should have expressed that she's annoyed by it, but you can't expect Jen to dance to the beat of your drum. Jen's a grown woman. She's going to move in a manner that works for her. And I think that Jen is the type of woman that knows how to balance that. We like Jen, and we can tell, she has those good attributes of being a really great friend. I think she would play her cards really well with that and not really be something to be concerned about, or someone to be concerned about. But anyways, so they're riding in different vehicles to Nate's event. And Dolores pretty much says to Teresa, oh, Teresa, you got the family you always wanted. And I'm like, it's so sad how, with Joe and Teresa, they're both placed in situations where they can recognize and realize the beauty of being in families other than their own. But again, we won't beat the dead horse. It is what it is. I get why they're in the position that they're in, and why, again, the distance is necessary. And so arrive to the event. It's a nice chill setup. Everything looks, precise, clean cut, all those things neat. The food is there. And we somewhat low key get introduced to Danielle's friend Tiffany. I'm going to say right off the rip, not interested. She chimed in on her thoughts and opinions. I don't know if this is kind of an introduction to show us or let us know we'll be seeing her again. I'll give her a fair shake another episode, but I don't know. I was just like, who is this? Like, go over there. Like, I don't know. She was giving very much, girl, please be quiet, whoever you are, not right now. And I love the touch of the gospel choir that they had. I started laughing because I said, I don't know what them folks was dancing to. It's like all of them had different beats going, and I'm like, isn't it one sound? So, but it seemed like everybody was dancing to different stuff. But nevertheless, the whole point is the praise went up. They were giving thanks. Nate is still here after all this time. Shout out to that again. And again, wishing him continued health, longevity, all of that, never to have to deal with that obstacle again. So now the part of the episode that I really enjoyed. So Teresa decides she wants to pull Jen Fester to the side to ask, about everyone gathering at Margaret's house the night before the last reunion, just kind of concoct some type of plan. And so Jen admits that they did get together to prepare for whatever Louis had coming their way with the private investigator. And so Margaret apparently, and this is where I said in the beginning, I'm going to get to the end of this, was, according to Jen, supposed to pull out the audio recording of Louis calling her son and threatening him. And so if you think about the facts, the facts using our context clues that we were given, right? Because sometimes evidence is circumstantial, which means that we don't have everything in front of us tangibly, or what we need, our eyes aren't laying on it. We really have to just kind of use clues to come to our own conclusion. With her saying that, I'm wondering then if that's why Teresa is saying that she can't wait for Margaret through this lawsuit to be exposed as a liar that she is, because why wouldn't Margaret have pulled out that recording at that time? Y'all were gunning for Louis. Y'all don't see it for this man. Listen, all Louis would have to do to me is say one wrong word. He could have said to me, oh, your shoes are ugly. I would have been like, oh, word, Louis? Where's that recording? Andy, cue the recording, please. Production, let's go. Where's the recording? And it would have been on. I would have been so hot to get that going. They probably, listen, You know how they do the introductions at the reunion? Andy be like, Taina, you're looking well, looking nice. Thanks, Andy. Can we play that recording though? Like, I would have been so on it, it's not even funny. And for the fact that it didn't come up, that's strange. And for the fact that you came from my child, and I'm not going to reveal that, that's strange. So it makes me wonder: was there really a recording then, Marge? Marge. So I guess time will tell with that. But I know that's what popped into my head. And then the fact that Teresa sat there, and even Jen Fessler was in her confessional, like, is sounding like it could be a little believable, and swore on her daughter's lives that Louis didn't threaten Marge's son. We know if Teresa doesn't do anything else well, I don't care what y'all say, for those of y'all who don't like her, who do, all of this. We know Teresa goes up for those girls, and she has from day one. She's an outstanding mother. She will ride to the ends of the earth for her kids. She is a protector. She is a nurturer. She is all the things that a mother should be. So why in the entire hell would she then sit up here and lie on her daughter's names? Now, is it far-fetched? Have we seen people lie on their mamas and stuff? Yeah, we have, but I just think this is a sensitive area for Teresa that she wouldn't play when it came to her girls. So I'm kind of like with Jen, where I'm kind of like, it really isn't far fetched that Teresa's telling the truth about this. You know what I'm saying? But again, time will tell. Time will tell. And so, Jen also just kind of clarifies that, she never said that they didn't execute their plan. What she said was, you guys had all this stuff, and you didn't even use it. For instance, John Fuda had the manila folders that he didn't open, and that's also something that's a cause for pause, because you're like, wait, actually, yeah, he did. And why didn't he open the envelopes? What is going on with y'all? Like, yeah, I'm all the way confused, because that was Mad Day. That was your opportunity. That's when you were supposed to shut it all the way down. Like, what happened? So I'm telling y'all, yeah, this is getting me more excited for what's to come, because it's like, y'all were supposed to be shutting Louis down, and you didn't. And it seems like you did it not because you didn't want to, because potentially you couldn't. But we'll see. I could be completely wrong, right? And so on to the side, we see Margaret, talking, and she's saying, oh well, Jen Fessler's liable to say anything when she's been drinking. And even that, I was scratching my head like, Marge, what's that supposed to mean, Marge? Are you worried about something spilling out or coming out? Interesting. I'm telling y'all, this is the makings and the rumblings of some stuff going down. Like, now it's starting to already, episode 2 makes sense where this division is coming about and why this stuff is starting to roll. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this ain't looking good for the home team in this moment, of the folks that literally were trying to take Louis down, but again, I could be jumping the gun and getting ahead of myself. Only time and will tell. And like I said, we'll see. And so pretty much Jen Fessler also just asks Teresa to clarify her timeline of when she referenced John Food as being like one of the biggest green dealers of Bergen County. And Teresa's like, oh no, I was talking about like way back then, not now. Now, he seems like a good family guy, an upstanding citizen, all the things, or whatever the case. And then I know there was a reference at some point in the episode, even where I think Rachel had made it known that he got arrested when he was 17 for selling green. Like, it wasn't even that deep, And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because again, he doesn't strike me as this big, mean force to be reckoned with in the streets, that's, doing what he's doing. I'm like, nah, he doesn't seem like that type of person. So like I said, the storyline to me was already silly. And then yes, coming from your ex, most likely than not, you could be just somebody that's a little mad, and you want to have a reason to say something, and he has this platform. Why wouldn't you be trying to wiggle your way on it too? So I don't know. Like I said, I don't think that carries much weight. But at the end of the day, I think that was the gist of the episode. Jen Fessler pretty much lets us know, and she made me feel even better about my decision, that she likes Teresa, and she just thinks Teresa is a good person. Now, again, I get that that's contrary to some belief, and I understand y'all have a lot of reasons to back that up. Not disputing that at all, but still, we love Jen. A lot of us do. And Jen seems like a great person, a woman of integrity, a woman of character. And so for her to even make that assessment, I'm just like, again, let's keep in mind, guys, we don't get to capture and see the things that are not caught on film. So we can't just go with all and only what we see on the screen. You know, there's more facets to people other than that. And listen, I don't know. Sometimes it's like when you have a good credible source like Jen Fessler at this point in time, it's like, oh, well, why not? It's easy to believe what she says, you know? So I'm going with her on that until, you know, I change my mind about it. So anyways, y'all let me know what you think. All 2 people of you that watch my review, thank you so much. I appreciate even that, you know, that much. You know, let's get the chat started, y'all. Again, don't be standing there holding up the wall when you could be on the dance floor. So don't be holding up the comments when you can be saying and speaking what's on your mind. Let me know what I'm wrong about. Let me know what you were feeling, what you weren't feeling. Do you think there's an audio recording at the end of the day? Can you attest to the fact or agree with, you know, Jen Fessler that Teresa might not be that bad? You know, was there anything in those manila folders, or were they just really playing in our faces? Let me know, y'all. Okay, till then, I hope y'all stay up, be blessed. I will see you again for episode 3. I hope that these episodes just keep getting better than the last, which I have a feeling that they probably will, because we're already on to something at this stage early in the game. All right, so y'all take it easy, and I'll see you soon. Peace out.